Now, you went from being a series regular on All My Children on the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then you came in, which is a difficult thing to do after being a regular on a show. You came in as a guest for 4 episodes on Wizards. So,
Mhm.
2 questions. One, how did that come to you? What was that audition process like? What you can remember? And 2, how did you approach coming in as a guest after being a series regular for so long?
Good
Yeah.
question, Jennifer.
Thanks.
Great question. Well, I remember exactly, very detailed how it came to me.
Perfect.
Like every single part of it. Okay, so I was 19 at this point. Sarah Connor Chronicles had ended, and I was auditioning for so many things, and I was booking a lot of things. I because that show didn't go. I felt like, all right, I still gotta do like more prime time, more TV.
Yeah.
I still don't really know what I'm doing. I was terrified on the Sarah Connor Chronicles most of the time because it was so different from All My Children, and there was like so many different setups and cameras, and it took so long. And but sometimes I'd have like 2 lines that day, and I would overthink it, and I was like, I don't know how to be just like normal on camera. It was so I needed more experience. That experience was really like freaky to me. I remember just feeling so out of my depth, but I pulled it off again, like I always do. Fake it till you make it. But
Yeah, right.
so I was 19, and I thought, and like again, I was in that Disney neighborhood. Everyone was blowing up. Selena, Miley, Demi, Vanessa, like everyone in the neighborhood and in my peer group was like blowing up on Disney, and it was like, the pinnacle of like success for people our age. And I thought to myself very, very distinctly, I want to be on Disney before I get too old to be on Disney. Because I was
I
about
thought
to
the
turn
same
20.
thing.
That's funny. The Jonas Brothers, all of that was happening right around me, and I felt this like FOMO because I was like in these serious dramas that weren't, like exciting, like in that way, pop culture wise. And so I just said to myself, I really want to be on Disney before I get too old. And I would look at the audition. I would look at the breakdowns that you're not supposed to like look at, but I had a password, and I would look at them.
The breakdowns are what auditions are happening, what projects are coming up. Typically, agents and managers see that, but breakdown services, every once in a while, you could get a copy of that. That's what that is for the people.
Yeah,
that
I stole like a password from a manager, or she gave it to me. But you're really not allowed to do that. But I don't care. I like I say in my new book, I always looked out for myself more than I think anyone in this business.
Well,
and
you
so
have to.
you have to. So I cared more than
nobody
anyone.
else is going to.
Yeah, and I was able to snake the password, and I saw the character of Rosie come up on Wizards of Waverly Place, and I was like, I have to do that. And it said 16 or something, but I was 19 or almost to be 20, so I was like, oh my gosh, they think I look like I'm 16. So I just fought for that audition, and they were like, you've never done anything like that, and I was like, I don't care, just get me in. And I did whatever I had to do. So I remember showing up, for the callback on the Disney lot. And I was just like, oh, like, this is the best. I did it. And it was a chemistry read with David Henry. And I just said to myself, you can have chemistry with anyone. Like, I didn't know David. I didn't know. I just didn't know.
I got it, though.
I had never been on a sitcom. I had never been... on Disney. I didn't understand the tone at all, like at all. I wasn't even like a fan of it. I wasn't watching Disney. I was more of a Nickelodeon girl, by the way. So I didn't understand the tone, but I just was like, Leven, you gotta do it. And so I remember going in that room and just milking it with David and being very like flirtatious. And again, I'm not sure I had the bad, evil part. I think I knew that, but I wasn't playing that. So
it's interesting. I don't mean to interrupt you, but a guest star coming on, and it's a rare thing to have a chemistry read with a series regular that's coming in. Normally, the people just go, okay, you're the person, and we're going to make this happen. It's very interesting for me to hear that they had you and David do some kind of chemistry read.
But
I love that.
You have to remember that the reason I think that they did that was because this was right after Juliet.
That's right.
So
That's right.
so that was the whole thing, is because he has a whole bit in one of the 4 episodes that Leven was in where he talks about, he's like, look, this is my chance at love after I lost my, my Juliet and all this kind of thing. So I think they had to really make sure that it was able to rival or at least like compare to that long-standing relationship over seasons.
I get it. But I also love what you said. You were like, I'm going to have chemistry no matter what. I'm going to make this happen.
But I love it because that's our job, right? So because chemistry reads are weird. You meet somebody for the first time and all of a sudden you're supposed to be in love or flirting or whatever. And so you have to, I don't know if you do this, but anytime I've had chemistry reads, I'm like, I can find something I like about everybody. So I find like the one thing I find attractive or the one thing I really like about that person that I'm trying to do a chemistry read with. And also I'm sure that part of what got you the job is because David is a lot of energy. And so to be able to keep up with that, which knowing you, I'm not surprised in the slightest about like I said, I love your approach of like, I don't know how, but I'm going to make this happen because you have in so many different ways.
Thank you.
But yeah, so how did you, so you didn't know that she was evil beforehand?
I think correct? I did actually, but I just wasn't playing that. It wasn't a part of the scenes. And so I just didn't, I just didn't play it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you hadn't done a sitcom before. So coming in, doing a sitcom Monday, you do a table read, you're rehearsing Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes you're pre-shooting Thursday, and then you're doing an audience show. Now, walk us through that a little bit. So now you've got the job and you come in to do this new experience, right? So Wizards was your first sitcom?
First and last.
She was like, never again.
Never again. No offense, but I didn't understand the tone. Like that's what you said, Jennifer, is true. That's what they told me, was like there was a very significant relationship with David and Juliet prior, and that she was blonde, so that's why I had to dye my hair red to like differentiate us. And
I was about to say, I didn't know that they had you dye your hair red for Wizards. I thought you just happened to be like strawberry blonde. Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Okay.
And I was like red, like I said, I was like willing to go all in for Disney because this was like my chance. So and I like changing hair for roles and stuff. It just puts me in a different mindset and it just makes the character a lot easier. But what was the question? I'm sorry. I thought.
What was it like? I'm doing this new. You go from doing 60 pages a day to doing 3 lines, in 2 days on Sarah Connor, and then now you're on a sitcom where it's more. The best way to describe it, in my opinion, is like it's like a play, and you're kind of staging everything out. What was that experience like for you? What was like? Oh, this is different here, or that kind of, you're just being on set. What was that like for you?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't understand the tone. I really didn't understand what went into creating a sitcom or a Disney show. I thought, I can do this. I was exhausted, totally and completely exhausted, socially, mentally. Like, you guys are a different breed of human, and like we need you types of people that can maintain that level of energy, and that level of like, not artifice, but just like you have to be up and
you have to be on.
You have to be on, and you have to be like keeping the energy up and the positivity and like thinking that the lines are funny over and over and over. And I just was not used to that at all. And I was really nervous in front of the crowd. Like, thinking back, the fact that I actually did this without any reserve whatsoever, like now I'd be like, oh my God, I can't do this. That's crazy. But I was like, let's do it. And I was shocked at the like workload, the hours. There was like no breaks, because on other shows, like it takes so long to set up cameras and lighting. But with your show, it was just all set up like right there, almost like a soap opera. And it was so, I was just like, whoa, I don't think I can keep up with this. Like it was a lot for me personally. And so God bless. I remember thinking about you, Selena, David. I was like, you guys are another breed, are like superhuman, and I'm not cut out for this. Like, I'm not. So
you know what's interesting? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
You know what's really interesting that you're saying that, because what you brought to the show and what I noticed back then and rewatching and stuff is you were very real. And one of the things that happens on sitcom is people are like, you know, there's a lot of jokes that are mean to the other people, you know? So you have to really care about your characters, and you have to show some compassion, because there's so many like, I'll never do that to you, and now I'm doing it. Or, you know what I mean? There's a lot of turns. And I remember when you came in that you were very real, you know, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, I could see this, that you did the sitcom kind of cadence and tempo and everything, yet there was you know, I'm just letting you know that everyone who's going to do a sitcom should have that real feeling, which is so nice. So even though you're like, I was scared, I didn't know what I was doing, it was a lot, what's happening? Yeah. There was something that you brought to it that was so nice, because this chemistry, this connection that people have to have when you're doing a sitcom is really important, you know, for them for the audience to care, you know, even though you were evil.